was the last time you ignored a gut feeling? My guess is, whatever it was, didn't turn out that great for you. On this episode, we're talking about all things intuition. You'll learn what its purpose is, how to recognize it when it's coming up, and exactly how to translate it. After, you'll never have to worry about not trusting that bad gut feeling again. My name is Corrie Lo, and I'm a life and business coach who helps others find purpose through leading emotionally fulfilling lives and businesses. Funny thing is, it may have taken me over 35 years to finally figure this out, but I'm a natural intuitive. I've always tended to make decisions based on gut feelings, and in general, anytime I didn't, never worked out well for me. Today, I'm going to be sharing how to harness this essential skill. But before we go ahead and get started, if you like content like this, definitely be sure to go ahead and hit subscribe. That way you'll be updated the next time a new episode airs. So what exactly is intuition? Intuition is a process that gives us the ability to know something without analytical reasoning. It helps bridge the gap between the conscious and non-conscious part of our minds. So your instinct is different than your intuition. So let's clarify the two. Instinct, in particular, is a response that has to do specifically with your survival, whereas intuition has to do with your highest good. As an example, you might decide to stay at your job because your instinct is telling you that's what you need to do to stay safe, right? Because having your job keeps you safe. It keeps your roof over your head. It means that you survive. It's a survival instinct. Whereas your intuition may tell you that you hate your job, that it's not good for you, that you should quit it and start your own business or do something else, because that is what would be best for you. So that's the difference between instinct and intuition. If you're curious about what intuition actually feels like, here's a few signs. Again, everybody experiences it differently. So the most important thing is to kind of take note, during the next few days and weeks, whether or not you feel any of these coming up, because it may actually be your intuition speaking to you. First up, and this is the way I feel it, you have a strong physical sensation in either your chest or your gut. For me, it happens in my gut. I can kind of feel it tightening a little bit, but it's a definite stomach reaction. For some people, it might be their chest. It could be in their throat. It's a physical reaction. So that's one sign. Another, which people may not realize, is that you feel at ease after you make a decision. So if you struggle with a decision and then after you make it, you have a sense of calm and peace, more than likely that's your intuition letting you know that you've made the right decision. So be happy with it. Another one is you may have lucid dreams. Dreams are the gateway to our unconscious minds. By being able to interpret what your dreams mean, and I do this all the time with dream dictionaries, and they're usually pretty on point, but things that you may not subconsciously know are going on in your life can potentially come up within your dreams to be interpreted. So if you find that you're having very, very vivid dreams, or dreams that actually feel like real life, which is what a lucid dream is, it could be your intuition trying to speak to you. Next one is you notice the same opportunities being presented to you over and over and over again. If you're getting offers for the same exact thing, you keep ignoring it and it keeps coming back up, more than likely there's a reason for it. So definitely trust that intuition and, see what it's all about. It might be worth exploring. Another sign is when you decide and you purposely have more downtime. So for example, you go on vacation, or you take an extra day off, that you suddenly have more clarity. So that additional space within our routines and within our minds can help create what's needed in order for our intuition to finally come out, because we're not preoccupied with all the other days in life's events that happen on a regular basis, because you've actually made time to do nothing. Whatever comes up for you during this nothingness time may be your intuition trying to speak to you. You may also notice that your thoughts are constantly drawn in a specific direction. I know for me, as an example, summer of last year, I had this idea to start a podcast where I interviewed people through stories of adversity. It was the idea that just wouldn't go away. It just kept coming up, and then I ended up meeting people that would make great guests. Again, the opportunities that kept arising in a circular, repetitive fashion. And eventually I just took the plunge and created the show, which is now the show that you're watching right now, the Corrie Lo Show. That's definitely another way that your intuition can be speaking to you for sure. You'll notice an uneasiness that you just can't shake. If something just seems kind of unsettling and not quite right and you can't put your finger on it, more than likely that's your intuition trying to tell you that something ain't right. Another way you might feel your intuition, and this one's surprising, is you might feel ill. So feeling physically sick. If you're physically sick, and there's no good explanation for it, more than likely it's your intuition trying to tell you that something isn't right. And lastly, if you suddenly feel inspired, I know for a lot of people, they have their best ideas in the shower, or some great ideas happen when they're driving and suddenly they feel inspired to take action on something. That more than likely could be your intuition trying to get through to you. It's interesting though, believe it or not, negative emotions can actually get in the way of you being able to clearly see your intuition. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, so stay tuned to the end. All right, so we just talked a lot about how your intuition feels. But for those of you who don't feel very strongly with it, let's talk about how you can increase it. So the first way to increase your intuition is to actually start listening to your inner voice. That inner dialogue that's going on a regular basis. We all have it all the time. One of the easiest ways I find to do this, and other people may agree or disagree, but I am closest to my own inner voice through meditation. By purposely every single day sitting down and clearing my mind of all my extra thoughts, my to-do lists, different things that I have to worry about. By purposely making space to be present and in the moment, it makes it that much easier for me to hear my inner voice when it feels needed to speak to me. It's actually through this practice that I learned that I personally can channel write. So after I go into a deep meditation, when I come out of it, if I sit down with a piece of paper, I can write content that I am not necessarily just penning myself. Sounds absolutely crazy, but I have had so many different insights and so many different ideas that have come as a result of these writings that I do after my meditation, that I know for sure it is my inner voice speaking and guiding me. Next up is to just spend more time in solitude. We spend so much time with other people that a lot of people that I've met are afraid to be alone and are afraid to spend time with themselves. But by enjoying purposeful solitude, where you're making time to be by yourself and to do things that you enjoy, that inner dialogue that we all have, it will become much, much clearer the more time alone that we spend. Another way to be connected more with your inner voice and to raise your intuition is to find ways to be creative. I talk about this a lot throughout all of my different platforms, but being creative could be anything from, cooking yourself a meal, creating a new recipe, to painting or drawing, or even participating in some kind of team activity, for example, where you have to be creative in the different plays and strategies involved. Games are another great option. But anything that makes you challenge your thinking and come up with creative new solutions can actually help you in trusting that intuition, because your intuition is going to guide you through your creativity. I kind of touched on this earlier when I mentioned meditation, but practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is different than meditation. So meditation is a formal practice where you learn how to release your thoughts. Mindfulness is actually learning to be present and aware in the current moment. It could be being aware of what your thoughts are. It could be being aware of how you physically feel. Breeze on your skin, the sun on your back, while you're walking outside. It could be awareness of how food tastes, how it feels, going down your throat. Being hyper aware of your current environment and senses. That's being mindful. And it's through mindfulness that we are sometimes most connected to our inner voice, and it allows it to come out and speak to us. So that's definitely another easier way to increase your intuition. Another great way is through observation. Probably one of the easiest ways to practice observation is through journaling. Write down what you feel, write down what you see, make your own conclusions, because as you practice this writing and again, this creativity, it's going to allow your intuition to come out and speak to you. Next up, start listening to your body's cues. So this kind of falls underneath mindfulness again. It's becoming more mindful of your body's signals to you. If you're feeling abnormally tired, or something feels itchy or scratchy, or something just feels off, usually that's your intuition trying to tell you that something is wrong. So I know for me, when I have a tendency to, be pushing myself past my limits as far as stress and everything else goes, I start to feel back pain. That is my body's way of trying to tell me that something is not right and I need to slow down, reset, and take a pause. So listen to your body. I mentioned this way earlier today, but another way you could start to increase your intuition is by learning to analyze your dreams. So for the dreams that you remember, and again, observation, we could journal them, right? When you wake up. So write down what your dreams are. And then from there, you could utilize a dreams encyclopedia Or there's many different websites that you can go on nowadays too that you could put in the broad topic of what your dream was about and learn what it means to you. So as an example, while I was going through some very, very dramatic changes in my life last year, I kept having this reoccurring dream of airports where I was always in an airport. I never had my luggage the right way. I was always waiting for my flights. And it's interesting because dreams about airports have to do with major life transitions. By learning what it was that meant to me and interpreting the dream for myself, I was able to figure out what my hang-up was. And right after that happened, the dream stopped. So learn how to interpret your dreams. Next is to make sure you make time for downtime. It's in that empty space that we become connected with our inner voice. In order for the inner voice to have the space, in order to be able to rise up and start speaking to us, we have to have some empty space for it to do it. So try to make sure that you're, scheduling downtime into your week, every single day, just some time for yourself so that it has ample opportunity to do so. And lastly, when you feel negative emotions arise, of course, negative emotions are super, super important with telling us what a specific situation or person or interaction means to us. But in many ways, it could be detrimental because it clouds our intuition and what we're meant to say. For example, it's one of the reasons why we hear, from all these different people and all these different self-help gurus and whatever else, that when we are escalated, we should attempt to excuse ourselves to calm down and then revisit the conversation at a later point in time. The reason for this is because those negative emotions that we're feeling are like a mask, and our intuition can't get through to tell us what the right thing is to do because our ego is too involved with our feelings in order for us to truly know what in our heart is the right thing to do in the situation. So learn how to purposefully detach from negative emotions. And there's many, many different ways that you can go about doing this. It's all about trial and error, discovering what your triggers are for negative emotions, and then from there, how you're going to want to choose to react to them. But once you're able to do so, it's then much, much easier to hear your inner voice and your intuition to tell you exactly what steps you should be taking next. So what's the last time that you were grateful for your intuition? Definitely be sure to let me know. I really, really want to hear about it. Leave a comment or tag me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I just may feature your comments on a future episode or even a social media post. So let me know. I'd love to hear. And if you're ready for even more inspirational and motivational content, definitely be sure to head over to my website, www.corrielo.com, and sign up for my email list. Every single week, you'll receive tips, tools, resources, and interviews designed to help you lead a more emotionally fulfilling life and business. I look forward to connecting with you there.